Hey 1301 class, sorry that we missed our review today, but I'm going to do a quick video review with you guys so you have an idea of what to look for on your final. I know that the exam review is a little confusing, but I'm going to go over that information. So for your final, you need to bring a pencil, and that's all you need to bring. Also, if you want to bring a completed final exam review with all of the information filled out and all of that good stuff, then you will get 5 points on the final exam. Okay, so a couple of things that you need to know. I'm just going to kind of go down the review and cover some information with you guys. The exam is multiple choice, true, false, and matching, so there won't be any short answer or essay questions. But as far as the first section goes for topic, I'm going to be specifically asking questions about an upside down pyramid. So the information you need to know is in regards to what information is at the widest part of the pyramid at the top and then tapers down to the narrowest bit of information. So the most specific information is going to be at the tip of the pyramid, while the broadest is up at the top. So that goes back to the very beginning of the semester. And then your thesis statements, that's some pretty simple information. So your topic plus your opinion equals your thesis. And it's not simply factual. You do need to have an opinion component in there. As far as methods of development, that's going to be on page 13 in your book, I believe. It's going to be a chart or a list of the different types of writing styles. So narration, description, illustration, argument, compare and contrast, cause and effect, process analysis, that sort of thing. So with that one, you are going to need to know the definitions of those different types of writing styles. All right, and so types of organization, those are going to be the actual titles of ways to organize your paper. So spatial, logical, chronological, time order, space order, and logical order. As far as comma splices and run-ons, I'm going to give you examples of different types of sentences. So you'll have 4 sentences, and then out of those 4, you have to pick which one is punctuated correctly. So you'll have 3 run-ons, 1 correct one, and you have to decide which one is correct. Same thing with comma splices. So with comma splices and run-ons, you're going to need to remember fanboys, so for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. And then how to fix those sentences, so either using a comma and a fanboy, that coordinating conjunction, or a semicolon, or just putting a period in there. As far as fragments go, with a fragment you're missing one of the 2 essential components in a complete sentence, which is a subject and a verb, so you need both of those. Which brings us down to subject-verb agreement. So that's just making sure that your subject of your sentence and your verb agree. So you is kind, you is smart, you is important. While those things are true about each one of y'all, that has faulty subject-verb agreement, so you need to pay attention to that. You need to know what a pronoun is. So a pronoun is, an example of that would be like she, him, they. So you have a pronoun, she, a noun, which would be a woman, and then a proper noun would be the name of a woman, like Mrs. Whitford. Okay, so antecedent and pronoun antecedent agreement. An antecedent is the noun to which a pronoun refers. So your pronoun and your noun need to match. So you don't want to say something like Gina, Kim, and Katie took her vacations. You would say their vacations. Faulty parallelism is where you have a list of things that don't coordinate. So I like running, kayaking, and to hike. So instead of saying to hike, you would say hiking. So that's faulty parallelism. You need to know what annotating is. As far as unity goes, you need to know what the principle of unity is and the 2 essential elements of unity. So principle and 2 essential elements. There's 2 different questions on that, and that is word for word in your notes on unity as well as in the unity chapter in your book. So you need to look those 2 things up, the principle of unity and the 2 essential elements of unity for your for your exam. An antidote, you need to know what an antidote is. which is pretty straightforward. You need to be able to determine which section of dialogue is punctuated correctly in your test. So the first page of the narration chapter in your book is going to have examples of dialogue, so just pay attention to the punctuation there. Paragraph organization is going to be very similar to the types of organization for an essay, so same kind of ideas. You need to know why we use transitions. Why are transitions important in your essay? Unvaried and varied sentences. So you actually read a paragraph of varied sentence structure and a paragraph of unvaried sentence structure in your textbook. What I would suggest is getting in your book and looking up any terms that you're not for sure of in this really cool thing called an index. So it's in the back of your book, and it gives you all of these page numbers for the different types of things that we've covered through the semester. So an index with page numbers. So you need to know the difference between varied and unvaried sentences. Also, why we use outside sources. So what are some reasons why we use outside sources? Maybe for memorable wording to help bolster your credibility and that sort of thing. You need to know the definitions of summaries, paraphrases, and direct quotes. So you need to know the difference between those three and what their definitions are. You also need to know what the definition of basically the next following several things on your review: connotation, denotation, diction, tone, all of those things. You just need to know the basic definition for those. Metaphor and simile, you need to know the definitions, but you also need to be able to pick the metaphor or the simile out of a lineup. So for the metaphor question, I'll give you 4 different examples, and you have to pick which one is a metaphor. Same thing with simile. For narration, you need to know the 5 essential features in good narration. So that is in the narration chapter as well as in your PowerPoint. Then you need to know the basic definition of description, cause and effect, compare and contrast, and that sort of thing. For cause and effect, at the beginning of the PowerPoint, I asked a couple of questions. When you ask the question, what if, you're trying to determine what aspect of cause and effect. So what if I hit my snooze button one more time? When you ask what if, you're trying to figure out the effect. When you ask why, you're trying to figure out the cause. Why was I late? Because I hit my snooze button. And then you need to be able to pick just general correct MLA format as well. So that is a rough rundown of the review. So I hope you guys are staying safe and warm. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, your test is going to be on Tuesday at 8 a.m. If you have a scheduling conflict, please let me know and we'll figure something out. So otherwise, I will see you guys on Tuesday. Thanks.